Hello and welcome to SMACT TechCast series, where the flavor is always Oracle. My name is Peter Katrubis, and I'll be your host for transitioning from Oracle Analytics Server to Oracle Analytics Cloud Services. The agenda for today's discussion is to do a quick overview of SMACT, talk about OAC versus OAS business considerations, discuss OAC versus OAS feature comparison, do a cost-benefit analysis, look at OAC overview, and then the actual migration from OAS to OAC steps. SMACT was founded in 2013 as a pure-play Oracle Cloud consultancy. We're proud to boast over 150 of our own directly employed Oracle specialists, which is growing every year. And we also are proud to maintain a US-based Oracle Center of Excellence and Innovation in our corporate office in Dublin, Ohio. Our certifications include Oracle Cloud Partner, Gold Certified Implementation Partner, and Application Managed Services Partner. We're an ISO 9001 and 27001 certified organization, which translates to a commitment to process and consistency in delivering sustainable and repeatable solutions for our customers. Our accomplishments include Inc. 5000 fastest growing company in 21, 22, and 24, and also Columbus Top Fast 50 and #1 in IT services in that category. We're an MBE and SBA certified company, and our guiding principles are excellence, integrity, and growth. Our specialization within Oracle is on the applications, both with cloud and on-premises, also with Oracle Identity Cloud Services and Integration Cloud Services, and then data warehousing, business intelligence as it relates to those. Learning objectives for today's discussion are to learn how OAC compares to OAS, gain an overall understanding of OAC, including availability, uptime, data loading, and security, and learn how to transition from OAS to OAC, and understanding why to choose OAC, and learning the challenges with OAC. So first thing to look at is the OAC versus OAS business considerations. At this point, when we get into the feature functionality, you'll see they're pretty much on par. So it really comes down to a lot of those business considerations. When we look at OAC in relation to application size, there's no limit on the application size, and up to 2 million rows, whereas with on-premises OAS is determined by the customer's hardware. So a pretty significant difference. When you go to OAC, there is no hardware dependency, which as we go through and explore this is a big benefit in many areas. Again, there's multiple business models supported both in OAC and with OAS. So there's pretty much no difference there. When we look at the instances, there's no limit on the environments from OAC or OAS. One significant difference might be here in the operating expense versus the capital expense. With OAS on premises, it requires hardware and software investment, whereas with OAC, it's just the subscription to the services. Content and backup with OAC is automatic versus on-premises with OAS, it's the customer's responsibility. And we think that's significant for a few reasons we'll discuss further here in a minute. Cost effectiveness, OAC is much more cost effective for maybe, smaller size companies versus OAS, which is really geared towards, from a pricing perspective, larger companies in our opinion and from our experience. All of OAC is a cloud-based deployment versus OAS is on premises. Deployment time frame for OAC is much shorter. This is again one of the big benefits. With OAS and any on-premises implementations that we've seen in our experience, sometimes are delayed based on service level agreements you have with your vendors. If you have hosted applications or hosted, infrastructure, often there's a SLA that requires, 30 or more days in order to spin up an environment. So again, there's a lot of speed to value to be had with cloud-based deployments in OAC. When we look at the enterprise semantic model, we see, basically equal grounds here, both for OAC and OAS. Feature richness, OAC is always going to be most advanced. What we see is the bi-monthly updates to OAC. But those features that get deployed with OAC only make their way into the on-premises OAS once a year. So again, here, I got ahead of myself, but the OAC is bi-monthly and OAC is once a year. So if there's feature functions that come out, you're going to have to wait a little bit if you're still on-premises OAS. Hosting, again, OAC is all Oracle hosted and managed by Oracle, versus OAS is on-premises. So Oracle manages all the cloud infrastructure. When you look at infrastructure investment, there's nothing required for OAC, versus on-premises OAS. You have to get all the hardware and to support that, plus do the installation. You cut back on IT requirements with OAC. You don't have anybody that has to actually do the install on it, or have to do the patching and maintenance and updates on it. That's all done by Oracle. It's a part of the subscription services. Again, with on-premises OAS, you have to license the product, then you have to do the install, and you have to do setup. With OAC, it's just a subscription model and can be scaled up or down pretty easily. The mobile applications included with OAC, it's been deprecated when you look at OAS. And once we get through these two matrix comparisons of business considerations and feature function comparison, we're going to look at some of the deprecated features, which we're going to continue to see with OAS. When we look at modern analytics and visualization, that's all included both with OAC and OAS, basically DV, Oracle Mobile, both have that capability. Patching and upgrades, all performed by Oracle in the OAC, versus customers' responsibility. In role-based access control, all that's included on par across the two. Scalability, easy to scale up and down with OAC. It can be a little bit more challenging with OAS, again, based on, you have your own hardware and things that have to be managed at the client side. The scorecards no longer included with OAC. And then again, it's questionable what the future is going to be with OAS with the scorecard. Service monitoring, again, all done proactively by Oracle with OAC, and this customer's responsibility. One of the big things when we look at service monitoring, patching and updating, and some of these, backup and recovery, business continuity type things, from a customer responsibility as compared to that in OAC, is the discipline that's required. Again, you've got to have the processes set up, you've got to have the personnel, and then the discipline to execute on those things. So we think OAC has some significant advantages just in those areas. Further looking at the business considerations with OAC, it's a subscription, versus OAS, it's a licensure cost. With software updates are automatic. With OAC, they are manual. With OAS, again, comes down to having the personnel and the discipline. Everything's pretty much on par. The update cycle, again, is bi-monthly versus annually. Upgrades are automatic versus manual. And another thing to consider from a business standpoint, an implementation of OAC or a transition from OAS or OBIE to OAC could be considered a green initiative, because there is significant cost savings in eliminating the hardware requirement, eliminating the power requirements to run that, eliminating utility costs to cool for that equipment. Now, when we pivot to OAS versus OAS feature comparison, pretty much everything is going to be on par for OAS versus OAC. There's been a few things that have come out since the March 2024 release of OAS, which brought it completely 100% on par with OAC. But again, since March of 2024, which has only been 9 months or so at this point, there's still been some new features coming out, which there's a small delta there. And we've found some really, really obscure feature functions in OAS, like this impersonator, which are not included in OAC, which were important to at least one customer. And then there is a workaround for that. So anybody who's interested in using an impersonator-like feature in OAC, just contact me and I'll get you connected to the folks that have built that workaround to enable that type of functionality to satisfy that requirement. All the advanced visualization features available in OAC are available in on-premise OAS. The Analytic AI Assistant is only available with OAS, OAC. It's not included with OAS. It's pretty significant when you look at that type of feature functionality. Now, again, other than no natural language generation, the same feature functionality with OAS that we have in OAC. There's some limitations, like with augmented analytics, it's partially included. It's there, but it doesn't have all the feature richness that you have in OAC. Same thing with automatic data discovery. Database, we have to have a separate license managed by the customer. With OAS, everything else is included for direct connectivity and embedded analytics. Machine learning, mobile friendly. We have day by days not included with OAS. It is included with the mobile with OAC. Again, natural language processing is available, but no natural language generation is not available with OAS. So some small gaps there. Again, you're going to see pretty much across the board, except for security and privacy. You can see you have to do this manually in OAS. Pretty much, again, we see consistency across the two products on being on par. There are some products, features in OAS that we're starting to see that are being deprecated. And here's just some small examples. This is only not meant to capture all of them, even though I think it does. This is just meant to illustrate that we're going to continue to see features in OAS potentially deprecated over time. So OAS versus OAC conclusion. Overall, OAC is the more modern and comprehensive analytic platform. Some of the benefits are it's always up to date. You got automatic data discovery. It's a cloud-based deployment. Digital transformation could be looked at as a green initiative. Cost savings in terms of both hardware and resources. And then the scalability up and down is much more fluid than it is with on-premise OAS. There's some very few things that we've seen which we think are impactful in terms of balanced scorecard or this act as an impersonator feature, especially since there's a workaround. How do you stay up to date on all these things? We highly encourage you to join the Oracle Analytics community. This is a place for you to interact with your fellow Oracle Analytic peers and also stay up to date on product features and functions, ask questions in the forum, contribute to the forum. If you have the forum, this is also a place where you can track any Oracle events, sign up for webinars, sign up for conferences. They do a really good job of capturing different user groups so that you have one place here to go and find your community. And then there's an idea lab. This is very fascinating because you can actually see in real time the tracking of ideas that are presented by the user community in the idea lab to actual feature functions that make their way out in product development. And that's also available within the analytic community through the roadmap, where you can see there's all the current features, the upcoming features, and the future features. And all these upcoming features and future features are coming from the idea lab and customer input. Again, just a blown up illustration of all the current features, upcoming features, and then again, as we saw, the future features. So this is just a comparison of what roles are required with OAC versus OAS. As you can see, again, it's all the same roles and they're all the same functions that you would require for on-premises. It's just that you're going to probably need less resources in some categories. When we look at the cost-benefit analysis for OAC compared to OAS, this is the OAC pricing. What we've done is try to do a apples for apples comparison. This is the calculator for calculating the cost of your OAC licenses. This is the published pricing for Oracle Analytics Server. So again, this is published pricing. Every individual customer is unique in terms of their ability and how they license multiple products and bundle things. So this can vary, but this is the published pricing for Oracle Analytics Server. Now, when we do a cost comparison apples for apples for 25 concurrent users in a 1-year support subscription for OAS, it came out to $49,000 plus $10,000 annual support, roughly $50,000 for the year. With OAS on-premise, you also have to have the hardware and the infrastructure costs and the updates and the annual support costs added to that, and then also development and pre-production costs. With OAS and the same number of 25 production named users at the enterprise level, it's $24,000 for the subscription, and then an annual cost of or what would be $2,000 a month. So a little less than 50% of the cost of the equal OAS instance. So Oracle Analytics Cloud Overview, we can kind of breeze through this a little bit. I'd anticipate that most people here should be relatively familiar with it. This is an illustration that Essbase was originally included with OAC, and that's now deprecated. Oracle Analytics Cloud Overview. So the Oracle Analytics Cloud Enterprise Edition is actually was originally BI Cloud Services combined with Data Visualization Cloud Services. And the Oracle Analytics Cloud Professional Edition is basically DV, or the Data Visualization Cloud Services. And that became generally available in March of 2017. And the latest updates were done in September. Some really exciting announcements. I did reference it in the matrix, but I probably skipped over it quickly, that the new Oracle Analytics AI Assistant was released in September. And it's being released for the larger shapes, so the customers that have the larger environments first, but it will be rolled out to all Oracle Analytic Cloud environments. Again, just the power of the visualization and the capabilities of the data visualization within the tool are second to none. You can find hidden patterns within Smart Data Discovery. Then, the number of data sources that you can connect to is pretty comprehensive. We haven't found any data sources that weren't included that we wanted to connect to. And then we have a lot of powerful data preparation tools that are delivered with it. This content packs has gone away because this has all become part of the Fusion Data Intelligence packaging. Day by day is your mobile capability. There's a lot of software development capability within OAC. If you have a strong technical development / engineering group, there's a lot of capability to extend data visualizations within OAC. This talks about OAC availability and uptime at 99.9%. Maintenance is always gives you a heads up whenever something's going to change or when there's a maintenance window. Again, this is subject to change, but we found it to be very consistent. And there's also to note here is you can request that those times be changed as long as you do that well enough in advance. So, is data migration to the cloud necessary? No. So we get this question a lot. No, data migration to the cloud is not necessary. Oracle provides the following options to connect OAC with on-prem data. The two ways that would be preferred is either through the remote data gateway or private access channel. There's some benefits to moving your data to the autonomous data warehouse, but again, it's not required. If you choose to keep your data on-premise and one of these methods, it's important to know the benefits of one over the other for you. So if we look at the remote data gateway, there's an agent required. There's no agent required for private access. For remote data gateway, again, network connectivity is not required. The agent connects to an on-prem database and OAC. Whereas private access channel requires a VPN. All data sources are available or compatible with the RDG versus the private access channel. Not all data sources are compatible, specifically Oracle applications. Updates are required. The RDG agent requires an update with every new dot version. As a matter of fact, our process includes a step for updating the RGD agent before you get started, versus once you set up the access channel, there's minimal updates over time that need to be modified. OAC Classic support for RGD. So yes, both OAC Gen 1 and 2 are supported. With private access channel, only OAC Gen 2 is supported. So data migration options, you can use Oracle Data Sync, Oracle Data Integrator, Oracle SQL Developer, Golden Gate, or database migration services. So you have a lot of options here depending on what your skill set is, your team's skill set is to choose from. Role-based access, providing robust security, finely tuned to each organization and department's needs. It's built on identity management platform, so identity cloud services. Identity management is part of the common service layer and secured Oracle public cloud. So migration steps and assumptions. OAC is created on OCI according to the predetermined size and resource needs. So again, you'd have to determine in advance how to set up and configure your OCI instance so it's properly sized for what you want to bring over from on-prem. Users and groups are migrated to OCI. You create users and groups manually, or you can bulk import users and groups, or you can sync existing identity stores like Active Directory through an identity bridge, or you can use the appropriate Oracle Identity Management connector. Delete and archive unused content within the RPD, within the catalog, etc., to control the size of the migration. This is a highly recommended step of just making sure you're getting rid of unnecessary data to reduce the size of that import. Tips: look at the usage tracking reports to see what reports are being used, which queries are being run to determine what to delete and archive, and then pay particular attention to critical reports that may only be used periodically, like maybe that key critical reports that's used for year-end close, obviously not used very often, but critical to the year-end process, and definitely want that to be included. Backups taken on the source, again, always and on the target before you get started. So export the content from OAS on-prem, take a snapshot from the console. That captures the content and settings in your environment at the point at that time. Import the content into OAC, restore the snapshot in OAC, and use the latest version of the model administration tool to make the connection pull updates to the RPD. I'll emphasize this twice. Download and use the latest version of the model administration tool in OAS to make the connection pull updates to the RPD. Then deploy the latest version of the RPD to OAC. Now, lastly, turn on the agent schedules and test everything in OAC. When you import the RPD from OAS to OAC, the agent schedules are automatically turned off. I wanted to include this because some people might still be on OBIEE versus having done the upgrade to OAS. And it's important to mention there is a direct migration path from OBIEE to OAC. So I wanted to include this step because it's a little bit different. So again, for exporting the content from OBIEE on premises, you would want to download OBIEE 11G migration utility from an OAC instance and use that to export the content to a jar file. If you're on 12C, then you would use the WebLogic scripting tool, command export archive, to export to a bar file. Either instance, you would take that and you would import it into OAC. Then you would restore the snapshot in OAC and use the latest version of the modeling administrator tool again. So you have to emphasize that twice, to download and use the latest version of the modeling administrator tool to make those connections. Then deploy the latest version, and then don't forget to turn those agents back on. So implementation and roadmap. Start with a hybrid model, recent or summary reports and data on-prem. Evaluate feature stability and user acceptance. Mirror a subset of the data to the cloud. Database, autonomous data warehouse cloud. Full data migration, OAS lift and shift using snapshots, and full ETL migration. Gotchas. Oracle DB does not have agents yet for scheduling reports. The preview was available in July of 2023. I haven't seen any updates. Oracle DB does not have Excel export. That's okay. You can do it to CSV. Barriers to full migration, there are none. So our evaluation of OAC. OAC functions as advertised. There's a small learning curve for experienced OBIE developers. There's no learning curve for existing OBIE users other than the Excel DV mashups. And then it drastically reduces BI deployment timeframes, and performance and stability and support are exceptional. We thank you, as always, for your time and attention, and look for future TechCasts from SMACT Works. Thank you.